There was information. There was an alleged hit put out right after King Von's death, and wiretaps, and it's still a lot of information to come out. But like you said, if they had enough, why didn't they pick him up before they traveled to California? And if they knew they were going to California to commit this crime, why didn't they also follow the family and stop this case or stop this murder from happening?
Real life. If that shit ain't real life,
it ain't real life. Just ain't real life street stars. You know what time it is.
It's a lot happening in Florida right now.
It's a lot happening in Florida.
Meech getting released.
Yes, I want to speak to you on Meech's release. Again, I just watched the Menendez brothers movie to where these guys killed their parents. They were sentenced to life in prison, and now because of a Netflix movie, or maybe before, maybe the Netflix movie was inspired by the movement, but Kim Kardashian get involved, and now they've been granted a revisit of their sentencing, which could possibly free them. Big Meech was convicted to 30 years. Something happened recently in which technically a few years before his technical time frame to get paroled, they offered, hey, we're going to release you. How does that work in regards to parole, supervised release? How does that work as far as from the personal level of Big Meech? Do they normally say, hey, you've passed, because again, in Florida, he's passed 80% of his time and he's been a good guy in prison.
Has he? I thought he's only been in there 14 years.
I want to say he's been in there 20. I like to lean on Google a lot. Let me ask.
Because I thought he was arrested. I thought he was sentenced in 2008.
I want to say yes.
And so if he was sentenced in 2008, we're looking at roughly around 14 years.
Okay. So
16, because in 4 years, he would have been in there 20.
Okay, yeah, you're right. 2008, he was sentenced to 30 years. Yeah, so wait a minute. So how do you think that works? Like, what do you think? Because a lot of people
he passed the halfway point. He passed the halfway point, and his actions and conduct in prison, good behavior. He's shown the guards, the warden, and others that he's reformed. He might have done and availed himself to a psychological evaluation and to show that he has changed. And so there's lots of things that a lawyer would potentially set up. And to be honest with you, man, it could be money.
What do you mean?
It could be money.
Like what? Like a book movie or a movie deal or something? What we talking?
I mean, what's the movie out about him now?
A BMF, whole show.
Right. And so
now when you say money, you mean like what? Like from the prison side of things, for money for Meech?
Why did Tupac get out?
He was bonded out by Suge Knight. But you're right, how did he get a bond? But he spent $1 million. Everyone has a bond. I mean, Tupac had a bond.
Listen what I'm saying, though. If there's enough money and value in Meech being released, there could be both political and financial pressure to get him out of jail. I mean, it could be.
Do you feel, I know we talked about it earlier, but
don't start any straight crazy conspiracy. That is a very...
There's cooperation work to get out early.
Yeah, right. It's very possible that, an HBO or a Netflix or one of these companies could say, okay, you know what? Send this lawyer in, have him evaluate the situation. Let's take a look at it and let's set it up. Let's set it up to see if we can get him released. And upon his release, he signs a deal with us.
That's actually amazing. That's actually amazing. people should be pitching to Netflix while they're incarcerated. I'm just saying, hey, everyone has a story. He got a snitch jacket early on by the blogs and the media for getting out early. Why do you feel that stigma is on, like, especially on the black community? I don't hear this on the other side, to where, he's out early, he's snitching. They don't get me. He telling on the Mockingbird outside on the windows, tapping too hard. Like, what is that you feel about the snitch jacket get thrown out for anyone who's supposed to get 30 and to get out in half that? Like,
man, the community really have to stop that. We really do, right? I mean, we tell kids that make straight A's that they're not really from the community and they're not tough, or, they selling out. How are you selling out because you actually do your homework? How are you selling out because you're actually trying to make something of your life?
That's crazy.
How are you selling out because you show up to work on time? I literally heard that before.
Yeah.
You're just trying to appease those, not to me, but you're just trying to appease those people because you're showing up to work on time. You ain't 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes late like me. I'm showing them. I'm sticking it to the man and the woman. No, cut that out. That man could have honestly gone in there and had a plan. Look, I got 30. The goal is to try to get out in 15. I'm finna avail myself to psychological evaluations. I'm finna help other inmates. I'm finna get my GED. I'm finna get a college degree. I'm about to do this. I'm about to set up mentor programs in jail. I'm about to work with the recently incarcerated programs to keep prisoners from coming back in, stopping the rotating doors and people coming back in. There's lots of things and lots of reasons why someone could have got out other than snitching. But we always want to think the worst, right?
Yeah.
Man, you cheated, man. You ain't smart enough to get no A in algebra. How you get an A? I went home and studied.
Right. I knew the rules of how to get an A, and I did that.
Exactly. So, miss me with that, man.
Can you tell the people how a halfway house works? What is, for those who don't know what that means, when you're out on a situation where you're in a halfway house? Like, how does that look? What are the rules? Things of that nature. For those that don't know.
I always crack myself up, man, because I had these thoughts in my head. What's the show? What's Tyler Perry's show?
He has a few.
No, with the Eden. The men of Eden or whatever.
Yes. I forget the name of it. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right. When old boy was in the halfway house, pretty much like that, man. You're in a halfway house. Basically, it's a slow reintroduction of someone back into mainstream society. They want to cut you loose, but maybe you've been away for so long, they just can't throw you out there. You got to remember, man, think about it. 16 years ago, 2008, there was no social media.
Yeah. I think Facebook was about to be introduced to the world.
Right. And so you look at all the things that are going on now, and to come out, it's people who've gone into jail where they had phones on the wall and pay phones were the main form of phone. They come out and people walking around with phones. That's a mental shock.
They come out to the Tesla robot. That's
right. But come on, man.
What's going on? Yeah, what's going on with the Tesla robot?
Exactly. Exactly. If you've been hurt by one, please call me.
He started class actions.
Yeah, if you've been hurt by a Tesla robot, if a Tesla robot has acted like I am robot on you, call me.
Yeah.
Call me.
I know some lawyers are waiting for that.
Yeah.
They're waiting for that thing to go berserk. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. If you told your robot to clean the kitchen and your robot sounded like James Evans and cussed you out and threw something at you, call me.
Come on now.
Exactly. Call me, man.
So yeah, no, you got to be reintroduced to the world. But what does that look like as far as just, I think they have only like day plans. They could go to work, come back to the halfway house.
It just depends.
Okay.
It really just depends. right? You have some where you're allowed or they take you to classes and you go through the different requirements that you need in order to complete to be fully reintroduced into society. And so they want to just keep an eye on you for a while and figure out your movements. And, it's been 16 years. Everybody that he loved and knew in his community or where he was at that point may not necessarily be there. So where are you going to drop this man off to? And so this is kind of an opportunity for him to get reintroduced into mainstream society, but at the same time, set himself up to where he fits in. Where do I fit in? Right? Where do I live? How do I see my family? Where am I going to work? All those things play a role in a halfway house. So it's not a bad thing. It's something that is utilized to help people come in so that they don't go out and automatically violate. Just think about it. I get out of jail and they tell me all the things I shouldn't do. Hey man, you can't be around any other felons. You can't be around people with charges. You can't be around any gang members. And the only thing I know are those individuals that do those things. And next thing you know, I go to the neighborhood. My boys see me on the corner. They buy me something to drink. I'm out there talking with them. We catching up. Police roll up because somebody's carrying. Somebody got a gun. Somebody has this. And next thing you know, I'm locked up again.
Yeah. So how does that work if you're talking with the boys, just for a second, stop by, police pull up for just, hey, what you guys doing? And see somebody carrying, you didn't know. And like you just said, for that reason alone, you're violating. So how slippery is that slope? How many people you see kind of just have to go back because of something so minuscule? Like, yeah, man, you weren't supposed to be in that car with that guy. I know he got some gas and drove off and, police pulled him over. I know you just got some, stuff at the car, at the store and just walked in, and it's such a slippery slope to fall back into. Like, it's best just for people like Meech just to stay in the house and don't be around nobody.
Meech needs to do what a lot of professional athletes need to do. They need to have a caretaker. They need to have someone that says, okay, you, and you, y'all got to go.
Yes.
You, and you, let me check you out. All right, you good. You good. Come on in. And keep an eye on what's happening, right? If my man has a problem drinking and he gets violent or, angry when he drinks, and you got someone who's bringing over his favorite drink, hey, partner, I'm going to warn you this once. If I see him with a drink and you were anywhere near him that day, you will never see him again.
Yeah.
And if I see you, you and I got problems.
Sounds like a good woman. He might.
Or a good homeboy.
Or a good homeboy. Yeah, we'll see.
Or a good homeboy. You know what I'm saying? So he needs, the crazy thing, I think I told you this. I've done that for my clients.
There you go.
I've sat off to the side, let them do what they're going to do, male and female, right? And follow them on their social media. I've called clients at 3 a.m. because I got an alert on my phone. And it's like, hey, baby girl, we got court on Monday. You're out of state, dancing at a table on a strip club, drinking. And we got a DWI to take care of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't turn up, turn it off.
Yeah, right. Say, get off that table.
Right. And so, that's, people need individuals in their life who are not just yes people, who can sit back and not necessarily want to be seen, not necessarily want the clout.
Yeah. Can Meech do interviews and speak on past crimes that he got found guilty of? That's the question.
Hey, man, look. He can talk about them in the sense of remorse. Right? He can write a book.
Right.
He's already been charged. He served the time for it. Anything that they've indicted him for, he can go ahead and use. Now he probably don't want to tell any news stories.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
So,
Right.
they charged him with this X, Y, and Z. And as long as something is not necessarily criminally related, like he could talk about the first time they made $1 million selling drugs and what they did. Man, we went to the Shake 'em Up Shack and, we spent X amount of dollars and I met Doreen, Lisa, Tanika, Rhonda, and we bought, what we bought, drinks. I bought a car and we had a wonderful 2 or 3 days, right? He could talk about stuff like that. He could talk about the crimes, like I said, that were in that time period and used against them and tell that story, but do it in a way in such that it's for public interest or remorse.
Okay. Yeah. So he can't talk about meeting Jorge at the border and getting that pack, and then we turned up, and boy, we just did some people wrong with that. Oh, okay. That's
he
fair game.
He potentially can if he was charged with that.
Okay.
If Jorge was included in the indictments, but chances are my man ain't gonna really want to talk about nobody else but himself.
Yeah, chances are, man.
Hence, he's not snitching.
Yeah, there you go. Well, definitely want to touch base on Meech, man. Prayers go out to him. I hope he comes to sit on the couch or at least do some type of virtual phone call or something with us. Whoever grabs that first interview, congrats to them. And most likely, if it's us, congrats to us. So shout out Meech, man. Definitely a fan of Big BMF. His son is doing a great job playing himself. Do you feel like Big Meech should go and get on season 3, 4, whatever season we're on?
Brother, if you don't think that boy gonna make a guest appearance, or have a character, like he might play his uncle.
Yeah,
right. He might play his uncle, and we don't know. I don't know. Somebody, you guys might know. I don't know. Was his daddy involved in his life, and in what period? He was. What?
He was. Yeah. No, he very much was.
Yeah, he could very well. He could very. Yeah. Well, they can't play his daddy because they've already casted his dad. But he could very well play his uncle.
He could play his uncle, man. Again, that's legitimate work. But
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Look, man. My predictions for Mr. Meech is that he's going to be very successful.
Oh yeah.
The culture loves him.
Yeah.
And he is going to be taken care of. The thing is, and I think his son is really going to be able to help him out with that. Because he seems like a good kid who has his head on straight, who I haven't really heard too much about him.
Yeah.
Right?
But he's a working actor now. And
right. But he could be like, hey, Dad, this is how you move.
It could be. It could be. But with that being said, also his dad could be like, son, this is how you move. Now let's get to this real bag. Because when you have the mentality to make, let's say, a drug dealer's mentality, that's a hustler's mentality. And nothing against his son or anything like that. I know he went to acting class and got on the show, but once a hustler, always technically a hustler. And technically, he might be able to get out and really see the money that he had back then now. With the way Hollywood may throw money around, like you said, Netflix, who won't it? Who won't it?
My money is on, he's not going to do anything that will jeopardize his son. Now, if there's a movie that, maybe he takes classes, that they can play a father and son duo, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they play a sports movie or something of that nature. So there's, like I said, the opportunities for him are endless. The real question is, can he keep the environment that had him sent away from him?
There you go. There you go.
Shout out RealLyfe Street Starz, nigga. Move. Hey.